Ladies and gentlemen, if you're hearing this, you're alive. That's the only victory left. This is KZMB 1890 AM, the voice of the Rockies, broadcasting from a place I won't name, because they listen now. They hunt by sound. I'm your host, Silas Reed. What follows isn't just a storm report. It's a eulogy for the world we knew. If children are nearby, send them away. What happened here in Colorado isn't weather, it's war. And the sky started it. It began with silence. 3 days ago, the birds stopped singing over Denver. Not a chirp, not a crow. Just wind scraping bones against the mountains. Then the clouds rolled in, thick, gray, and wrong. They moved like oil on water, swallowing peaks whole. We'd been told it was government cloud seeding, routine drought control. But when those first raindrops hit Boulder, God, they sizzled like acid on pavement. People danced in it. Kids stuck out their tongues. Then the screaming started. I'll describe it exactly because you deserve truth. Sarah McConnell, school teacher, mother of 2, was walking home when the rain soaked her blouse. She gasped, clawed at her skin like it was on fire. Her veins turned black, bulging like roots under glass. Then her eyes, pupils vanished. Just milky white orbs. She tore into her own son's throat with her teeth, ripped out his Adam's apple while he hugged her. That's how fast it happens. 10 seconds of rain, and you're not human anymore. Your hunger wrapped in skin. Now the roads are choked with car wrecks. Smashed windshields glitter under a sickly green moon. And the things that used to be our neighbors? They don't shamble. They sprint. Faster than wolves and silent until they're on you. I watched a group of refugees, 20 souls, huddled inside a diner off Route 36. They barred the windows, thought they were safe. Then the power died. Pitch black. Only the scratching started. Fingernails on glass, dozens of them. Then the shattering. Glass exploded inward. I heard it over ham radio 9, a man's last transmission. They're eating Linda. Oh God, they're... Static, crunching sounds, wet, ragged chewing. I still smell blood when I replay it in my head. But let me tell you about Javier. Javier Ruiz, a mechanic from Pueblo. He rigged his tow truck with plows and barbed wire, drove straight into a horde near Colorado Springs, crushed skulls under his tires, bought time for a church group to escape. Last I heard, he was cornered in a Walgreens parking lot, swore on the radio he'd go down swinging a tire iron. We lost contact when something heavy smashed his windshield. I hope he took a dozen of those bastards with him. Hope haunts you worse than fear out here. Global news, forget it. London's gone dark. Beijing's a graveyard. Whatever poison we brewed in our skies, it's in the jet stream now. Rain's falling deadlier in Paris. Snow in Moscow carries the infection. But here, in our frozen, thin-aired hell, it's worse. The storm chasers know. Those brave, reckless fools who chase tornadoes, they saw it first. Called it Project Cirrus. Classified weather tinkering. Now they're radioing in from armored vans, dodging lightning that crackles purple, lightning that reanimates the dead it strikes. Imagine that. A corpse fried blue, jerking upright, smelling your heat from a mile off. Survival tip? Water's death. Hide from rain like it's napalm. But up here at 10,000 feet, snow melts everywhere. Streams gurgle with parasites you can't see. Marta Chen, hiding in a ski lodge near Vail, drank from a mountain spring. 2 hours later, she coughed up black sludge. Her skin split like overripe fruit. She begged her husband to shoot her. He did. Then put the barrel in his own mouth. Their bodies? Gone now. Dragged off into the pines by things that used to love hot cocoa and fireplaces. I just got a Morse code signal, faint, frantic, from a ranger station near Black Canyon. Storm chasers trapped, South Rim. They know how it began. Help them. Then coordinates. Static. Are they bait? Or a lifeline? I don't know. But I'll repeat those numbers. Because if you're near Gunnison, if you've got bullets, gas, and nothing left to lose, go. Maybe they've got answers. Maybe they've got hope. Or maybe they're just more meat for the skyborne dead. The static's back, like nails on a chalkboard inside my skull. KZMB 1890 AM, still breathing. Barely. Silas Reed here. If you're just tuning in, God help you. The sky isn't just falling anymore, it's hunting. Those coordinates from Black Canyon, they led to hell, and hell answered. Let me paint the picture for you. Imagine the South Rim at dusk. Jagged cliffs like broken teeth against a bruised purple sky. Lightning? Not white, not anymore. It's violet, crackling with a sound like ripping metal. And beneath it, movement. Shadows pouring out of the Black Canyon's gullet like infected blood from a wound. Hundreds, thousands, silent, fast. The storm chasers were there. Trapped. 3 modified vans, armored, spiked tires, rooftop cages welded from rebar, parked in a desperate triangle near the visitor center. I know because I heard their last stand over the emergency band. Dr. Eris Thorne, lead meteorologist for Project Cirrus. Voice ragged, screaming over the wind. The seeding particles! They weren't silver iodide. They were biological, military grade. Engineered to bond with atmospheric water. Turn it into a fucking neural parasite. We didn't know. We swear we didn't. A guttural snarl cut him off, glass shattering, then wet tearing sounds and laughter. Not human. Something wet and hungry. They fought. Oh, God, did they fight. Jenna Rios, their driver, ex-ranger, came through for 10 glorious, brutal seconds. Took out 6 with the roof-mounted flamethrower. They burn like dry tinder, smell like pork, and, God, their screams. They scream when they burn. Then her transmission dissolved into static and a horrifying liquid gurgle. Something had gotten inside. We lost them, all but one. Liam Chen, Marta's brother, remember her from the ski lodge, made it out. Stumbled into a ranger's outpost 10 miles east, covered in black blood that wasn't his, clutching a scorched data chip. Half his face was missing. Cheekbone exposed, teeth gleaming in the raw red meat. He was whispering one word over and over. Lightning. Lightning brings them back. Smarter. Then he convulsed, vomited a torrent of that oily black sludge and stopped breathing. The chip. Corrupted. Of course. Hope's a fickle bitch at the end of the world. But Liam's warning, it's real. The dead aren't just faster, stronger, they're learning, adapting. Saw it myself near Salida. A National Guard convoy, Bradleys, Humvees, the works, tried to secure Highway 50. Thought their armor was safety. Mistake. The things, they didn't just swarm, they climbed. Piled onto the lead Bradley like ants, crushing the turret under their weight. You'd hear the metal groaning, then the pop of hatches breaching, screams cut short, then silence, until the engines revved again. The dead, driving, rolling that armored coffin straight into the next checkpoint, mowing down their own retreating soldiers. They used our weapons, our machines. The sky didn't just make monsters, it made tacticians. The violence escalates, it has to. Survival strips you raw. Heard a transmission from a fortified Costco outside Durango. Hundreds holed up. Thought the concrete and steel shelves were a fortress. Then the rain came. Not outside, inside. A breached roof, see? Just a small leak over the pharmacy section. Drip, drip, drip onto the head of a little girl hiding under a shelf. 10 seconds. That's all it took. She turned, bit her mother's neck clean through. Chaos erupted. Friend tore into friend, family into family. The last broadcast was a chorus of shrieks, gunfire echoing off concrete walls, and the chilling sound of 1,000 teeth ripping into flesh. A wet, rhythmic schluck, schluck, schluck that haunts my dreams. It moved like a spider. A human spider screeching with a voice that sounded like grinding glass. They call them climbers now. If you see one, run. Don't look back. Just run. The storm itself is evolving too. That purple lightning? It's not just reanimating. It's recharging them. Supercharging. Watched a group of maybe 50 shamblers get hit by a single bolt near Monarch Pass. The flash blinded me for a second. When my vision cleared, they weren't shambling. They were vibrating, twitching with unnatural speed, eyes glowing faintly violet. They moved like blurs, tore through a refugee camp like tissue paper, left nothing but red mist and splintered bone. Human stories? They get darker, sharper. Remember Javier Ruiz, the mechanic with the tow truck? They found what was left of him near the Walgreens. Not dead. Changed. His tow truck was a tomb of mangled corpses, dozens he'd crushed or impaled. But they'd gotten him, dragged him out. His legs were gone, chewed off at the knees, but the parasite, it kept him alive, kept him hungry. He dragged himself 2 miles using his arms, leaving a slick trail of gore, biting the ankles of anything that moved. They put him down, hard. Took 3 shotgun blasts to the skull before he stopped biting. That's the mercy we offer now. Bullets instead of bandages. Global scale? Forget containment. Satellite fragments whispered tales of Europe drowned in acidic rain. The Sahara blooms with black fungal forests where the rain touched sand. Tokyo's silent, but here, in the thin, merciless air, the mountains themselves are turning against us. Avalanches triggered deliberately? Maybe. Heard reports from Silverton. Hordes of the dead, hundreds strong, purposefully stampeding across unstable snowfields above the town. Brought down half the mountain. Buried Main Street under 50 feet of snow, rock, and them. The silence after was the worst part. No screams, just the settling snow, and the faint, muffled scratching from beneath. The rain's coming again. Not a gentle patter, a hammering deluge. I can hear it drumming on the roof of this damned shack. It sounds like fingers, like a million hungry fingers tapping, begging to be let in. It carries the smell now, ozone and rotting meat. The storm chaser's data chip. Liam died for it. Maybe there's something salvageable, a fragment of truth, a weakness. Or maybe it's just another tombstone. Tonight, as the violet lightning forks across the sky like shattered veins, remember Javier. Remember Marta. Remember the little girl in the Costco. The parasite doesn't just kill, it perverts. It takes everything good, everything human, and twists it into hunger. We wanted to control the clouds. Instead, we birthed a plague from heaven. And it's learning our moves faster than we can make them. The question isn't if the next storm breaks, it's when. And what fresh horrors will it rain down upon what's left of us? Static's my only company now, a constant hiss like the breath of the damned. KZMB 1890 AM. Signals fading. Just like everything else. Silas Reed, reporting from the edge of oblivion. That Morse code signal after the storm? Mine flooded. They swim. God, they swim. It wasn't a lie. We found the truth. And it's worse than we ever imagined. The dead don't just walk, run, or climb. They dive. Let me take you down into the darkness. The Lucky Strike silver mine outside Leadville. A labyrinth of tunnels bored deep into the cold heart of the Rockies. Survivors thought it was sanctuary. Deep enough to escape the rain, the lightning, the sky itself. 500 souls huddled in the damp, flickering gloom, breathing air thick with rock dust and fear. They sealed the main shaft with blast doors, rigged lights from dying generators. Thought they were safe below the waterline. They were wrong. Dead wrong. The rain up top? It wasn't just falling. It was pooling. Gathering in vast, toxic lakes in the mountain valleys above the mine. Then, they came. Hundreds. Drawn by the heat, the vibration, the life humming below. They didn't dig. They didn't need to. They just walked into the poisoned lakes, sank like stones. But they didn't stay down. The parasite, it adapts, changes them, makes them buoyant. Fills them with gas that reeks of rotten eggs and ozone. They floated. Drifted silently down the old, forgotten ventilation shafts, the exploratory boreholes, the cracks in the earth we thought were sealed. The first sign? Water. Seeping up through the lowest tunnel floors. Not clear mountain spring. Thick. Black. Oily. Stinking of decay and chemicals. Then, hands. Pale, bloated hands, bursting up through that filthy water, grabbing ankles, dragging minors and children screaming into the inky depths. The screams echoed through the tunnels, bouncing off the rock, a chorus of pure terror. I heard it relayed over a dying walkie-talkie signal. They're in the water! They're pulling us under! Jenkins just gurgled. Oh God, his face! They're biting! Then the sound of frantic splashing, choked cries, and finally, a terrible heavy silence, punctuated only by wet chewing sounds and the soft plop of something surfacing. They don't drown. The parasite doesn't let them. Their lungs fill with that black water, but they just keep moving. Slower down there, sure. Weightless. Drifting like nightmare jellyfish. But their jaws? They work just fine. Saw a fragment of security footage smuggled out by a kid who made it to a secondary shaft before the blast doors sealed his friends in forever. Shows a minor, flashlight beam shaking wildly, backing away from the rising water. Then a bloated corpse, skin tight like a balloon, eyes milky white pearls, erupts from the surface. not lunging, drifting, mouth opening impossibly wide, rows of needle-sharp, broken teeth gleaming in the dim light. It envelops the miner's head like a grotesque, fleshy flower. The light vanishes. The footage ends with the muffled crunch of bone. That kid? He shot himself an hour later. Couldn't get the sound out of his head. And the violence. It takes new shapes down in the dark. Trapped survivors turned on each other. Panic is a sharper knife than any zombie tooth. Heard about a group near the old dynamite cache. Argued over the last clean water. A man pulled a pickaxe on his own brother. Caved his skull in. Only the brother didn't stay dead. Not for long. The spores. They're everywhere now. In the air. In the water. And the blood splattered on the walls. He twitched. Sat up. Head lolling. Brains leaking. And tore out the throat of the woman trying to bandage his murderer's arm. Family annihilated itself in the space of 2 minutes. The mine didn't kill them. We did. But the sky isn't done with us. Remember those things learning? Using our machines? They've graduated. Think bigger. Think higher. Got a frantic burst transmission from a lookout post near Pikes Peak. Barely audible over the howling wind. Movement. High altitude. Contrails, but wrong. Not planes. God, they're falling. Hundreds of them. Parachutes? No, just bodies. They're jumping. They came through windows, skylights, collapsed sections of roof. A father tried to shield his daughter with his body near the grand fireplace. One of the skyfallers, leg bent backwards, spine snapped, pulled itself across the Persian rug like a broken crab, latched onto the father's ankle. He kicked, stomped its skull, black goo sprayed. But another dropped through the shattered remains of a stained glass window, landing on the little girl. Its jaws, unhinged like a snake's, closed over her entire head before the father could scream. He emptied his pistol into it. Too late. Just red pulp and a tiny, still body. He ran out into the storm after that. Let the rain take him. Faster that way. Global whispers are bleaker than ever. Paris is gone. Not fallen. Glassed. Word is someone dropped a tactical yield on the Seine to stop the spread. Turn the river into radioactive steam and the city into a crater glowing faintly purple. The Himalayas? Overrun. The dead don't mind the cold. They just freeze solid, waiting for the next lightning strike to thaw and hunt again. An ice age of horrors. Military? What's left? Cheyenne Mountain Complex, the big bunker, the last hope, gone dark 12 hours ago. Last transmission was pure chaos. Alarms wailing, distorted shouting, the unmistakable thump, thump, thump of heavy machine guns firing point blank in enclosed spaces. And then, a wet, guttural roar that vibrated the mic before the line cut. If Cheyenne fell, nowhere is safe. Nowhere is deep enough. The earth itself is compromised. And the lightning, it's changing them again. Saw a pack near Crestone. Got hit by multiple violet bolts during a freak hailstorm. Didn't just supercharge them, it fused them. 3 bodies, limbs tangled, bones knitting together under crackling purple energy. Became a single shambling monstrosity. 6 arms, 3 heads screaming in disharmony, lurching forward with unnatural strength, smashing through a barricade like it was kindling. They called it an amalgam on the shortwave before the signal died in a burst of static and inhuman howls. Evolution at the speed of lightning. Death remixing itself. We found a survivor from the mine. Just one. Huddled in an ore cart near a ventilation shaft exit, half drowned, babbling, kept whispering about the glowfish. Turns out it wasn't a fish. It was a woman, or what was left of her. Been down there longer than the others, fully submerged. The parasite. It made her bioluminescent, skin glowing a faint, sickly green in the pitch-black water. She'd drift towards survivors, a beacon in the darkness, a promise of light. Then she'd open that glowing maw and take their faces off. Hope used as bait. That's the cruelty of this thing. It perverts everything, even light. The rain stopped for now, but the silence is worse. It's the silence of held breath, of things waiting, learning, adapting. That fragment of the Storm Chaser's data chip Liam died for, we managed to salvage something. Just 2 words repeated in a corrupted log file. Solar inhibition. What does it mean? Did they try to block the sun? Is that why the clouds are so thick, so hungry? Is the sky itself sick? Tonight, as the wind carries the distant, chilling shrieks of the Amalgams and the faint, far-off splashing from flooded valleys, remember the glowfish. Remember the skyfallers. Remember the silence beneath the mountain. The parasite doesn't just want us dead. It wants us transformed, assimilated. It wants to remake this world in its own horrific image, from the highest peak to the deepest, darkest water. We thought the sky was our enemy. We were wrong. The enemy is everywhere. It's the water. It's the earth. It's the air we breathe. It's us. The question isn't if we can win. It's what's left worth saving when the storm finally breaks. This is it. The final broadcast. KZMB 1890 AM. The signal's bleeding out like everything else. Silas Reed, still here, still breathing. For now. That fragment, solar inhibition. It wasn't just data. It was a confession. A death warrant signed by our own arrogance. And the storm chasers? They didn't just chase the storm. They built its cradle. I found it. High up where the air tastes like knives and the clouds scrape the earth. Mount Antero. A ghost facility clinging to the roof of the world like a tumor. And inside, the truth that kills. The climb nearly finished me. Thin air clawing at my lungs, every gasp a fire. Below, the valleys swam in toxic fog, a sickly yellow-green soup hiding things that moved with liquid silence. Above, the sky wasn't sky anymore. It was a bruise. Purple-black, throbbing with veins of violet lightning that cracked down, not randomly, but with purpose. Striking clusters of the dead, supercharging them, fusing them into those lumbering amalgams. Saw one near St. Elmo, 5 bodies welded together by lightning, a grotesque centipede of rotting limbs and snapping jaws, flattening a pine forest as it hunted the heat signature of a fleeing family. Heard their screams cut short by wet, meaty thuds. The mountains echo cruelty. The facility was a scar on the peak, half buried in ice and snow, concrete walls stained black with something. Not mold. Something alive. Pulsing faintly. The entrance was a gaping maw, blast doors ripped open from the inside, steel twisted like tinfoil. Inside? Darkness, thick and cold, smelling of ozone, decay, and copper. Blood. Old and new. Emergency lights flickered, casting jumpy shadows that seemed to twitch when you weren't looking. found Dr. Eris Thorne's body first, or what was left, strapped into a command chair in the main lab, head missing, spine ripped up through his shoulders like a gruesome flagpole. On the cracked monitor before him, frozen on a loop, a single phrase flashing in bloody red text: Solar inhibition protocol active. The logs, God, the logs, salvaged from a scorched server, voices of the damned whispering their sin. Project Cirrus wasn't just cloud seeding, it was desperation. Global temperatures spiking, crops failing, panic. They aimed not to make rain, but to block the sun. Inject the stratosphere with trillions of nano-engineered particles, microscopic mirrors designed to deflect solar radiation. Cool the planet. Solar inhibition. But the particles, they weren't inert. They were prototypes. Military biolabs spliced them with something resilient, something designed to survive extreme cold, radiation, and replicate using atmospheric moisture. A self-sustaining shield. They called it Aegis. Irony tastes like ashes. The launch went wrong. A containment breach high over us. Colorado got the first concentrated dose. The Aegis particles didn't deflect sunlight. They consumed it, twisted it, bonded with water vapor, and became the parasite, the rain, the lightning, the death. We didn't seed clouds. We seeded the apocalypse. And the facility's core? It was still active. A pulsing geodesic sphere in the central chamber, glowing with that same sickly violet light as the lightning. The source. Not just generating storms, directing them, feeding the parasite, making it smarter, stronger, evolving it. Then they came. Not from outside. From within the facility's flooded lower levels, the swimmers, bloated, pale, silent as ghosts in the icy water that sloshed around the reactor core access tunnels. They didn't shamble. They drifted up through grates, rising like gruesome bath toys, their milky eyes fixed on the sphere's light. One, a technician in tattered lab coat rags, drifted towards me, mouth opening slowly, revealing rows of needle-sharp broken teeth black with old blood. I fired. The shotgun blast tore through its bloated chest in the thin air, a pathetic thump. Black sludge, thick as oil, sprayed the console behind it. It didn't stop, didn't scream, just kept drifting, that gaping maw inches from my face, reeking of the deep mine rot, until I blew its skull apart. The sound was a wet melon exploding. Silence followed. Then, scratching. From inside the walls, from inside the sphere chamber. Humanity's last stand isn't armies. It's butchery in the dark. Got a burst transmission from a group holed up in the Glenwood Springs caverns. They'd rigged natural gas lines, made a fortress, thought fire would cleanse. They were overrun not by the dead, but by the changed. Survivors who'd breathed the spores too long. Not fully turned, not human. Feral things with blackened veins and eyes like cracked marbles moving with terrifying speed. They didn't bite. They tore. Ripped a man limb from limb in seconds. Hot entrails steaming in the cold cave air, while others fed the corpses to the waiting dead outside, like ghouls taming wolves. The last words were a woman's shriek, abruptly cut off by the whump of ignited gas, then nothing. Static. Another tomb sealed. The sphere. It had to die. The core access was a nightmare. Icy water up to my waist, numbing my legs. The swimmers brushed against me in the dark, cold, bloated fingers trailing over my ribs. One grabbed my ankle. I felt those teeth scrape bone. I screamed, rammed the shotgun underwater, pressed it against its temple, and fired. The underwater blast was a muffled thud, vibrating through my bones. The thing went limp. The sphere pulsed above me, bathing the chamber in violet light. It wasn't machine. Not anymore. Organic veins pulsed across its surface, throbbing with the same rhythm as the lightning outside. It was alive, the heart of the storm, feeding on the solar energy it blocked, perverting it, raining down death. The override console was slick with frozen blood and that black sludge. Thorne's final log played in my headset, a rasping whisper. Core breach, cascade failure. Only a massive EMP, atmospheric inversion, could destabilize the particle matrix, but the energy, it would be... He never finished. The console sparked. Options flickered. Initiate core meltdown. Initiate atmospheric inversion protocol. Both suicide. Meltdown might just vaporize the mountain. Inversion. That was Thorne's gambit. Use the facility's remaining power to superheat a massive column of air, force it upwards through the parasitic cloud layer, maybe disrupt the Aegis particle field. Let the sunlight in, purge the sky with raw UV, might kill the parasite, might also ignite the atmosphere. Cook Colorado alive. No good choices. Only last stands. I chose inversion. Typed the code. The facility screamed. Alarms I didn't know existed wailed like banshees. Lights stuttered and died, replaced by the furious escalating violet glow from the sphere. The water around me began to boil. Steam erupted, scalding my legs. The swimmers shrieked, a high piercing sound like steam whistles, thrashing in the suddenly churning, burning water. Then the doors to the sphere chamber burst open. Not swimmers. Them. The facility staff. What was left, twisted by prolonged exposure to the core. Not shamblers. Not amalgams. Something crystalline. Skin like fractured violet glass, jagged edges gleaming, moving with a terrifying jerky speed. Lightning crackled between their outstretched fingers. They didn't run. They glided across the boiling water towards me. The lead one, a woman with half her face sheared off into glittering obsidian shards, lunged. Her hand, more like a jagged spear, went for my throat. I ducked, felt the wind of its passage, heard it shatter the console screen behind me. I fired the shotgun point blank into her crystalline chest. It didn't pierce. It splintered. Violet lightning arced from the impact point, searing my arm, filling my nose with the stench of burnt hair and ozone. She shrieked, a sound like breaking glass, and backhanded me. Felt ribs crack. Taste of copper filled my mouth. I fell back into the scalding water. Saw the others closing in, lightning gathering in their crystalline hands, ready to fuse me into slag. I did the only thing left. Reached for the manual override lever beneath the console, a big red steel bar meant for when everything else failed. Thorne's voice rasped in my memory. Energy surge, like nothing on Earth. I pulled it. Hard. With everything I had left. The world stopped. Sound vanished. Light vanished. Then, it exploded. Not outwards. Upwards. A colossal, silent beam of pure, blinding white energy erupted from the sphere, punching through the roof, through the clouds, a searing lance into the bruised sky. The violet light shattered. The crystalline things around me screamed, a chorus of shattering glass, and dissolved into glittering dust. The sphere imploded with a sound like a dying star collapsing. And then, the light. Real. Golden. Warm. A single brilliant shaft of pure, unfiltered sunlight speared down through the hole in the roof, cutting through the steam and the swirling dust. It hit the boiling water. It hissed. The black sludge coating everything seemed to recoil, shrink back from the light like a living thing burned. The facility groaned. Deep, tectonic shudders. The mountain was coming apart. The beam above flickered, died. But the hole remained. A tiny, ragged patch of blue in the hellish purple-black. Proof, sunlight. It hurt them. It might cleanse. The victory felt hollow, bought with Thorne's life, Liam's, Javier's, Marta's, the little girl in the Costco. Millions, bought with my own blood soaking into this frozen steel floor. The console is dead. The sphere is slag. But outside, the violet lightning still flickers on the horizon. The shrieks still echo up from the poisoned valleys. Did we win a battle? Or just angered the storm? I'm dragging myself towards the light, towards that shaft of sun. Legs won't work right. Every breath is broken glass in my chest. But I want to feel its warmth. One last time. Before the mountain buries this tomb, before the things still moving in the dark water below find me, I can hear them, scratching, clawing, hungry. Always hungry. This is Silas Reed, signing off. KZMB 1890 AM. Going silent. If you're out there, if you hear this, look up. If you see sunlight, run towards it. Fight for it. Burn the dead with it. Remember the cost. Remember the arrogance that birthed this nightmare. And remember, the storm isn't over. It's just learning what sunlight feels like. Maybe, just maybe, it doesn't like it. Maybe we just gave the sky its first taste of fear. Or maybe we just taught it a new way to hunt. God help us all.